like to call the Thursday, April 14th Board of Education meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. Mary, roll call.
Chairman Papa-Holzer.
Here.
Vice Chair Nafrio.
Here.
Secretary Sienna.
Here.
Janet Balsamo.
Here.
Zachary Canada.
Present.
Kim Dawson.
Here.
Victoria Lanza.
Let's salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Visitors. Out there. Student representatives.
Hi.
Hi.
So I have three things for you. So the SAT testing for juniors took place on March 29th. Ms. Balge organized the test administration, including the proctor training and pre-registration process, the school day schedule, and the distribution and collection of testing materials, and the shipping and completion of the test materials. Ms. Lombardi in the math department and Mr. Drexler in the English department led the design of flex time activities for all grade 11 students in preparation for this important assessment. Even though many colleges are no longer using the SAT score for their admission process, the CSDE uses this standardized score for school accountability records. This year, juniors have been provided with a series of flex time activities to better prepare for the test format and the successful completion of questions within the assessment. The preliminary indication is that the Mbhs students, once again, should meet or exceed the expectations of 95% of all juniors taking the school day SAT. Next we have the drama club. So the Mbhs drama club production of Mbhs took place during March 31st to April 2nd. Retired Mbhs educator Ms. Genzano has continued as the spring musical director along with her daughter Robin. The Mbhs art and tech departments designed and constructed sets for the production. The event was well attended and is another return of annual events at Mbhs. Performances were scheduled for Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night.
I heard it was fantastic.
I loved it. I was stage manager and I had a blast.
Good.
Lastly, we have on April 8th, the Mbhs Junior Prom took place at the local venue of Bill Miller's Castle. The class of 2023 faculty advisors, Ms. Balge and Ms. Ostrowski, led this important event and planned all the activities.
The pictures were gorgeous. I got to see so many of them.
And there was a video of Officer Madul dancing.
Oh, really?
Our security officer having a great time.
how come that wasn't
with the
shared?
I'm
I
going to get that
didn't see
video
that.
and I'm going to share it.
Oh, I left my dog out. That's a problem.
So I'm just going to add on to over the raindrops here. We had our senior citizen luncheon by the National Honor Society yesterday. 27 seniors came to the event. We had the select vocal and chorus, select chorus and instrumental perform, and they absolutely loved it. We played bingo, they did arts and crafts. We had stopped for 2 years, obviously, because of the pandemic, and we resurrected and started again this year, and it was a huge success. So the culinary class made pasta meatballs and salad and dessert for the seniors. They were literally in tears when the kids sang America Beautiful. It was priceless. So a shout out to our National Honor Society, Mr. Steffler, Mr. Watts. Great job. They really were so happy to be back.
And the students had fun too. So.
The students had fun.
Yes.
A lot of
So nice to be doing normal activities.
And just bridging the seniors love when the students sit down and engage in conversation and just share their stories and what they're doing, and then it's wonderful. So I wanted to. Now, any school decision for you?
Oh, I'm going to Worcester Polytech in Massachusetts.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Engineering.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
We're quite proud.
We are quite proud.
All right. You're free to go.
Did you want to wait?
Yes, my colleague Rebecca is on her way,
Okay.
and she's just slightly delayed. I would love to just wait till she gets here.
That's
so we can-
perfect. We'll just circle back.
Okay.
Should we look at the consent agenda and vote it through? Just make sure everybody's read it.
Sure. I'll make a motion motion, then we can have discussion. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda of the April 14th, 2022 Board of Education meeting.
Second?
Discussion? Zach, I'm looking at you.
What's that?
I know you usually,
Oh, yeah, no.
It's actually very short.
Yeah,
it is very
There's
short.
nothing
but
to it.
No, but just in case.
it's just, it's a nice highlight here that you gave for the funds going to good cause, Save the Children of America. So it's really nice. Yeah, nothing. Question?
Okay. Can we do them all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I was gonna say no.
And if you could really elevate your voice, Mary, can you hear everyone okay with the rain? Why did I set myself up for that? I knew. So really project so Mary can be accurate.
Good job, Mayor.
Yeah. Okay. Resignations. Yeah. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. As you're aware, during the budget meeting, Councilor Angeloni had a banner and we had a photo op with the council for our participation, the school's participation in raising funds for Ukraine, and on behalf of the school, over $5,200 was raised and benefited two separate organizations. So we were so proud of our administrators, our faculty, our staff, and our students for jumping in, and TBS needs to be recognized for their bake sale. That was quite successful on that day as well. And it was just a great community event, so hats off to everyone involved, and certainly it's something the board should be very proud of. We have all of the communications listed under Exhibit B. The administrative team is here right now. If there are any questions about anything that you saw in the board packet, they'll gladly answer any questions or comment on. If nothing, then we've set the graduation date to June 15th.
Say that really loud.
June 15th is the graduation date. Make plans accordingly. Make your reservations now.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people are asking. You probably let the seniors know, didn't you?
The seniors are
Probably, they
set.
probably,
So
yeah.
we are, and really it's a combination of things with Safe Grad Night and booking out, that venue and making sure we go 181 days. That's what we're completing. So we're in good shape.
I do have a question on Exhibit B. Are we on that?
We can go back to
You
it.
can go back. Yeah.
Sorry, just backing up one. Kind of went over that quickly. I had some notes. For the climate surveys, do all the schools do that, or is it kind of,
They do.
they do
Every school.
roughly the same time, give or take?
Same time, we have a committee, and Dr. Welch oversees the climate survey, and all of the materials go back to Dr. Welch and then are forwarded to my office.
Okay. And then that data, you make your analysis after that?
Correct.
Okay.
So it's parents, staff, students, all input regarding their individual buildings.
Thank you.
We can
Okay.
approve?
Do we have to approve the?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2021-2022 graduation date as Wednesday, June 15th, 2022.
I'll second. Do we need further discussion on that, or are we all good? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, on behalf of the senior class.
What do we do these days for, like, project graduation? Do we do it somewhere else? We don't do it at the school anymore?
It's a secret, it's a secret.
No, I'm not,
location,
but it's
no,
not at school anymore, it's
It's not at
somewhere
the
else.
school.
Last year they had it at Anthony's, I think, right? Was it at Anthony's last year?
Safe Grad Night?
I believe it was, and then there was a year.
Or was it at Woodwinds?
We were at the sub base a few years ago.
Yeah.
But-
Last year was somewhat local. I can't remember where, but it was pretty.
And with the pandemic, I'm trying to think 2 years ago if we even did it.
No,
No,
we could
we
have
didn't.
done it 2
We
years
didn't.
ago.
I would imagine
No.
not.
No, we didn't do it. And then last year,
Very nice that things are going to normal.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we had discussed this several months ago. We have a date of Wednesday, April 27th for the social emotional evening. All the schools will be there. Each school will present, and I have a flyer I'm going to pass around just so you have it. This is what went out to all families. It was on the Route 80 board, and we'll send a reminder.
Is it in the backpacks?
Went in the backpacks.
I don't
The
know.
electronic backpack.
I don't know if people still do the backpacks. You know,
So-
when we were kids, we did the backpacks.
So it goes out
I don't think you
electronically.
carry
It went as an email electronically to all families. So we'll do another reminder when we return from the break on that Monday prior to
Okay.
the Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay? So everything's listed there, times and location.
Who leads that through the, is it,
Who's facilitating?
yeah, whose facility, is
So
there a team, is there one?
it's all the administrators collectively with Tracy Wooten. And then we'll just go through, historically, some information about SEL, and then we'll go through what our individual schools are doing, and then we'll open up to any questions that anyone has in the audience. So I'm guessing probably each school will need probably 10 minutes with their PowerPoint presentations and to speak to what, they're doing in each building. So it'll probably be, an hour to an hour and a half total time.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, the Auger House, as you know, we had a discussion through the budget process, and we are going to need to ask the town council for an extension with the use of that building. And through conversations, it was recommended that we ask for a 2-year extension, so that's what I'm asking you through this motion to extend the Auger House over the next 2 years.
So I'll make a motion to authorize the superintendent to enter an agreement with the town council to allow the North Branford Public Schools School to Work program to continue use of the Auger House property located at 298 Forest Road, Northford, through June 30th, 2024, with an opportunity to extend this request upon agreement by both parties.
Second?
Discussion? I have discussion. So I know this is a temporary fix, but are we going to talk long-term? Because that's something I'd like to get in front of them. I mean, the Auger House was really falling apart, and
Sure.
we've done a lot of work, and I think it's such a good environment for the students there. So I think we should, instead of doing just a 2-year, which remedied our situation right now, I think we should look into a longer-term relationship with that.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so I would like to, once budget season is over, broach that topic independently and say, well, while we know we have 2 years, we should open up discussion about a more permanent arrangement. And I know there's offices upstairs. If
Sure.
they want to act, whatever they, the town wants to do, that's fine. We'll collaborate completely.
Sure.
I've seen that house, as many of the board members have, and it's such a good environment. So if we
I
can
love it.
keep that,
I-
that'd be great.
100%
Yeah,
support.
I'm in total support
Okay.
of that.
I will say, driving by every morning, because I drive to Jerome, it's nice to see there's cars in the parking
The
lot, the
house
lights
was
are
empty
on.
for so
It's
long.
nice to see it,
Yeah.
active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was empty for
It was
so
just-
long and
Yeah.
run down, and it's fixed up
Through
nice, and the kids are proud of it.
conversations,
And I
they
think
were-
town council will
We're looking
be-
for storage to use. There's
Okay.
shortage issues in different places, and they wanted to use that for storage, which they put upstairs. So I think
Okay.
there's definitely a way for us to.
There's collaboration, and I'm
Collaborate.
certain town council is
Sure.
willing to open that discussion. I think they just want a long-term plan so they know what's going on with the
Absolutely.
building. Okay.
Good, yes, but where did the money come to finance that refurb?
Our budget.
It was us.
It was us,
Yeah.
totally through our budget. And that's
Totally
what-
ed.
When we started the demolition of the high school, we removed Diane Hartice's classroom, all of her cabinetry, all of the fixtures, and retrofitted the house. And then we had to upgrade the heating and cooling system, the lighting. We sheetrocked the painting, put a new floor in. So we're into that for
Around 60,000.
$55,000.
And an initiative too.
And it's
It's nice.
all handicap accessible, it's customized to the needs of those students, and they love it.
They love it. That's the
They
most
love it.
important.
Now, are they selling their dog treats?
They are.
Yes. Wow.
So there's no preservatives, so we have to refrigerate them, so they're quick sales. When we come in, there's no shelf life, so. But they've been wonderful. They've gone to all the buildings, and the kids have done an amazing job. The packaging and the branding, it's really cute. So
Good.
they
That's
don't
great.
take any cash. You take your credit card.
No, really?
It's hysterical. They have the device
Swipe.
and
Yes.
they have the iPad.
Yeah.
And they're like,
I don't
"It's
even
just
Venmo."
make it, we don't take cash. They took my card.
Way of the world.
I said, you guys are great. So anyway,
All right.
it's really going well.
That's great.
Okay.
Okay, wait, we need to vote on it.
Oh.
All in
That's
favor?
important.
Aye.
I don't think that would be an issue either. Okay, curriculum now.
Stacy?
So I'm going to provide you with an assessment action plan overall progress update.
That's okay.
This really just talks about, we don't have the data yet from the end of the year assessments because obviously it's not the end of the year yet. So what it does do is though talk about some of the things that are happening in our buildings that really address some of the things that were in the action plans. And it is very appropriate as testing season is approaching. So I'll just go over a few of them very quickly. There are links here so that you can see some of the artifacts and evidence of things that have been implemented. So common themes, these are things that have happened in multiple buildings.
Trace, can you send this to us electronically so we can just click on the links?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
So we talk about curriculum, we have the goal for each on the left-hand column, and then examples and descriptions in the right-hand column. So in terms of curriculum resources, it really is about paying attention to high-quality, standards-aligned resources as well as curriculum development. So not only teaching from a resource, but making and matching the resource to what we have aligned to the standards for North Branford students. So we talk about some of the things that we've done there. The recent grants have allowed us to buy some real high-quality resources with all the bells and whistles, which in my time in North Branford, which is probably more than I'd like to say now at this point, we've never been able to do before.
Right.
So I'm talking about purchasing workbooks, consumables, every teacher aid, every student aid, all of the professional development bundles that go with these programs to make sure that our teachers and students have every advantage that the curriculum resource has to offer.
And this is K through 12?
It is, so it's different programs. So
Yeah.
K-12 right now, IN is now implemented in every single building. Luster Mathematics, we will be adding Algebra 2 to the sequence right now. It's K-10 up to geometry. So it's brand new in the elementary schools this year, so they really have been benefiting from some of the ancillary materials that were never provided or last time we had such a comprehensive resource weren't available, including digital resources and things like that. So then we also have, with that bundle, we now also have coaching services. At 9th grade, we're also having the coaches work from the middle school, so it's more of a middle school, high school model, and then obviously our elementary coaches are K-5. So we add their assistance and the training that they each receive for some of these programs, and it really is the best way possible to implement a new resource in a new program. So that is some of the activities and action steps that we've taken in terms of curriculum. And again, this is not only to support assessment, but that was what we were asked to do, was to write action plans based on assessment, which was our scores, the student achievement scores we discussed at the beginning of the school year. So then we go through another big initiative that will continue is the use of data to make informed decisions. Data teams have been established or reestablished in all the buildings. They are all embarking or already there on a 3-step inquiry process. So that is really becoming norm now. So that the teachers are assessing, progress monitoring, reassessing, determining interventions, which goes on to another piece of this, which is our flex time and other things to make sure students are getting addressed where they are and providing the individual supports they need.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How are we weaving in critical thinking into the curriculum? I mean, I know we have to address test scores, but like critical thinking is not rote. It's about problem solving, and like how do we weave that into the
So
curriculum?
quite honestly, none of the test-taking strategies now are about rote memorization because the tests themselves aren't. They're computer adaptive, so it's not just about content. It actually does. If Common Core really sells itself on it being a higher order thinking set of standards.
Can you give me an example?
So the mathematical standards for Common Core have 8 mathematical practices. So not only do you have content specific for each grade level, but you have practices like reasoning logically. You have using tools strategically. So these are not rote things. These are things that come from a conceptual understanding. In language arts, or the literacy standards for subject areas like science and social studies, you have evidence, arguing with evidence,
Okay.
citing evidence to support arguments. You have things like that that
Okay.
really are not about,
Yeah, okay.
I have to be honest with you, for high school, for the CAT, for writing, there was a recipe we gave kids. It was 5 steps, and it was exact, and we knocked the ball out of the park every single time with it, because it was just a formula.
It was a formula.
And we gave it to the kids, and it worked. That's not the case anymore.
Right.
So it really is about, one, our programs like IM, like Amplify, like TC, all promote a collaborative workshop type model where students are constructing their
Yeah.
own knowledge, so they're building it. And it's about bringing a teacher in to be a facilitator,
Yeah.
not as much as the person who, I'm here, I have all this great knowledge, student part, be quiet and listen to me.
Right.
It doesn't work anymore. So it really is all of these things do that. So when another piece here is about professional development and walkthroughs and things like that. So in TBS specifically, the other buildings as well, but I think in TBS it's a little more explicit, we are talking about visible thinking, invisible thinkers. It's about having the students explain their thinking. It's that metacognition, that thinking
Yeah.
about their thinking that drives them to become lifelong learners and obviously helps them to develop as students and
Yeah.
people. So everything is.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It really is. And that kind of lends itself, like I said, to the next few things where we have professional development. Our most distinguished and expert teachers really simulate teaching for everyone. So it's about helping everyone be comfortable in that position of facilitator now, and not just, I am the expert, listen to me talk. There is always a place where we have to impart knowledge and make sure that the students understand and know certain things, but by and large, instruction now is about enabling students to do, and not about what they know.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So some of these things really attest to that. Again, this is just a brief sample. I picked things that were common. We went through the action plan updates with each of the buildings last week and at the beginning of this week, and we will have a building by building update. One score is coming at the end of the year. Our benchmarking scores as well as standardizing test scores.
Perfect.
So going on to my next little piece, and then I'll take any questions you have on either preschool. So we did have over 80 applications for preschool. If we discount any of the ones that were not of age, because we did have some people apply for younger students, which our FRC program does take, so it was more than appropriate. We had approximately 75 applicants that wanted to go into our 2 classrooms that are state funded through Smart Start, and we take 30. So there were still 45, obviously FRC and Emory McCarthy were able to accommodate or are able to accommodate some of that, but clearly not all of it. Our funding right now, because our programs have passed the necessary site accreditations, which are efforts 3 for our Smart Start for Recovery classroom, that's the newer one. And then we did receive 9 accreditation for the other one. Our funding is guaranteed through the end of next year, which is the time for all funding for preschools in Connecticut. At that point, they will either extend that funding or they will move to universal pre-K funding. So I would say they'll either extend 2 years of funding or they will start to make the gradual change to universal pre-K.
What does universal pre-K mean?
Universal pre-K, the federal government in the Build Back Better set is saying that they are going to support 7 years of universal pre-K, meaning that pre-K is provided, whether it be in public school districts or outside facilities, but obviously the outside facilities would have to maintain standards similar to
Yeah, yeah.
ours, but that every child would be given tuition-free standards aligned to preschool. So at that point, when that should be announced, we would then determine spacing, seating, all of that, what the public school is able to do, where we could put it, all of the programming, and then discuss.
Tracy, are you warming us up for another class?
Honestly, it's smart. If they don't do universal pre-K, I do believe they'll give additional preschool funding, and as long as we can talk about the operation of it, meaning the space, and obviously, I'd like to keep all of them at Jerome. We have
Yeah.
take advantage of so many of the things that happen at Jerome, like
Yeah.
specials
That makes
and
sense.
all of the activities of the family community. I would absolutely continue to push for more spots.
Okay.
I mean, we, as I said, even with the FRC taking people, we have a decent sized population of approximately 30 students that apply,
Yeah.
and we can't service. So considering that our night of information was online, it was virtual again this year, I think we're still missing a decent amount of people that probably don't know yet.
Yeah.
So I could see the
I agree.
enrollment or the applications being even more substantial next year.
Okay, so we should put
We've
that.
had conversations, Sarah and Tracy and I, looking at space
Okay,
with Beth and what that would look like,
okay,
and realigning some of our programs that are in existence right now, how we could reformulate and look at that. So
'Cause the
that is
building is only so
actively going
big.
on.
So
Yeah, is
we
this,
would
is
obviously-
this oh my God, I can't speak. 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds for preschool, or is this just 4-year-olds for universal?
We currently just serve 4-year-olds. We
Right,
just
but when
serve
this, when the government says they're gonna
It would
fund,
depend on
it would
spacing.
be,
So
Okay.
depending on spacing, and what would happen is we would convene a school readiness council. We don't have one now in North Branford, so we really would have to do one at that point because outside providers might be involved, and it really needs to make sure that everything is aligned and all of the providers align. So we would build that, and then we would talk about it. Right now, we chose to do 4 years only because of the limited space in classrooms we have. We wanted to make sure those students that will be entering the building the following year had the best start, because part of our program really is about helping the youngsters transition into kindergarten.
right.
You know, them being in that building and going to the library and going to gym class, and all of that really has done wonders. The kindergarten teachers speak so highly now of, one, the preparedness of the students, but two, how quickly they acclimate to being kindergartners. So it really would depend on what the availability is, what the federal regulations, and the state would have to pick up half of the bill after so many years. So it would have to be based on what they're telling us
And they haven't
we
said
would
anything
have to
yet.
do to make their requirements.
Okay.
So preschool is on its way. We are, obviously with our 2 programs, we are moving and forging ahead. I believe that next year, knock on wood, we won't have any restrictions on everything our youngsters can do, and that will be it.
good.
So again, we are very proud that our preschools both got recognition in terms of the accreditations for the site visits for NIAC and for efforts. So we are ready to go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any questions for Tracy?
Hey, yeah, two, hey Tracy, yeah,
Sure.
you know, I'm new to that critical thinking versus the old kind of do as I say model, right? I mean, so are you finding that like the current teachers are easily transitioning into that, or is that where the professional development really kicks in?
That's where the professional development comes from. Quite honestly, it's difficult, and I was still in the classroom when Common Core was just starting, literally. And when you're used to, or even when the high school went from regular 40-minute periods to block schedule,
Right.
at that point, we really transitioned teachers over to, it needs to be more than a lecture. When you go by best practices, the attention span of even high schoolers is not 75 and 8 to 84 minutes. So at that point, we were really helping people transition to, okay, so how do we make sure that students are engaged, they're actively participating, and how as a teacher do you come up with those things that will allow not only the standards and allow the content standards, but practice standards also to be addressed with students, and then students actually demonstrate mastery of those. So it is difficult. It really is. It's about, and one, it's about giving up control. So as a teacher who may, and I'm including myself in this, as a teacher that had, a classroom and had kids in order, watching, and were ready, and they were listening and behaving, and they were compliant. Well, now it's more about, you really don't have the control of compliance when it's organized chaos to really help these students learn. And it's scary for a lot of teachers.
Are you finding that higher ed programs, universities with degrees for these types of, new teachers coming into the workforce, do you think they're kind of prepared, knowledge, skills, and abilities, so to speak, to come into
I think it's less, I think they preach certain things. So I'm on a committee for CAPS that is helping teacher prep in Connecticut. And I think the teacher prep programs do a lot of theory. They talk a lot about theory and what is best practice. But when you go to those courses, they're professors standing on the screen talking and pointing in the room. So we do in student teaching kind of press the teachers and the student teachers to go outside that comfort zone. And it is expected of them, but realistically, especially because much of the work that you would do within these more active classrooms was small group work in collaboration. And with COVID, we separated the kids. We put them back in rows and put laptops in front of them. So I think it kind of switched track for both teachers and students, and now it's about pulling them back again.
That's got to be fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Fascinating. Yeah.
So we'll move
So
on
do
to,
we want to
we'll circle back to
circle
shipping.
back?
Shipping. Yep.
Obviously, back earlier in the agenda, we have shipping here, and as you are aware, we're really excited. Ann Littlefield is here, and Rebecca Santiago. And how long have you worked together?
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier today. So I've been in practice since 1995, and I had our first son, Matthew, in 1999. So I have this really fun memory of being on maternity leave, and Scott was a principal, and they had a crisis. And so I was local, so I put the baby in the bucket, drove to the high school, dragged the baby in there, and
So we go way back. And that
so
baby's
that was a
doing
lot.
just fine now.
Yeah, well,
Coming in the bucket?
That baby was like in college.
it was, yes, the baby's 23, actually, so 23 years. And we are very enthusiastic to be here and to have this opportunity to expand our work for the board and for the district. I thought maybe the best thing, we have these materials that Rebecca has passed out to you, and they're comprehensive, and they say everything you need to know about our firm and all that in a bag of chips. But it's better, I think, to use this opportunity for us to just build a relationship, because I think one of the hardest things about being a lawyer of any type, but particularly a school lawyer, is that when we are engaged, it is on highly emotional matters that are, it's parents and their children. Usually if there's a lawyer involved, it's not because you're going to an award ceremony, right? Or someone's getting a prize for something. And if we are engaged directly on a board issue, it's usually highly emotional as well and very public. So it's so great to get a chance to tell you, here's how we roll. This is our philosophy of the practice of law. This is how we think we can be most helpful. And to have that conversation be not when you have a huge crisis right in front of you, right? So we appreciate the opportunity. Just a couple words about my background, and then I'll turn it over to Rebecca. I have been practicing since 1995 in the area of school law. I went to law school after graduating from divinity school, so I have a degree in theology. And I found myself really surprised at how similar the two disciplines are, right? Because you're looking at the same set of words and trying to figure out what it means, right? But the good thing about being a lawyer is somebody figures it out in someone's lifetime, right? And there's an answer. So that suits me actually much better. And I really enjoy working with schools because every person in the school setting is what you're doing, whether you're on the Board of Ed or administration or a teacher. You're not trying to shift this amount of money from this person's account to that person's account, right? You're engaged in trying to teach and trying to educate kids and enable them to be incredible citizens in the world. And to be able to be a lawyer supporting that enterprise it's just such an incredible privilege. So we feel very passionate about our work. And go ahead, Rebecca, tell them a little bit about yourself.
I have been at Shipman and Goodwin since 2003. I think you were on maternity leave.
Yeah, I could have been. Yeah.
And now that you're saying the whole divinity thing, I am wondering that did they pick you as my mentor? Because I needed a little bit of that in my life.
I really couldn't comment on that.
Right, I'm like, now it's making sense. She's on maternity leave, but she's my mentor.
Right.
Anyway, but yes, I came to school law from a long line of educators. Pretty much every female in my family, the men are telephone people, but the females were all teachers, professors or teachers. And so I thought I was daring to be different by going to law school. And then when I got there, I kept feeling this call towards education. So I ended up clerking for the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights while I was at Boston College for law school. And then I got a job at Shipman and Goodwin as a summer associate. I felt immediately at home because I feel like this is such important work. I mean, I am blessed that not just to practice law, but to practice law in an area where I can really make a difference, where I can help boards of education and schools, help students, help families, help forge relationships with their teachers, help forge relationships, help change, something that's so important in our community. And nothing has shown that more than the last couple of years. I mean, during the pandemic, it was such a privilege to be able to really help communities and families and boards of education solve these completely new situations, find solutions, find ways to reach families, to reach children, to shape education. So I very much love what I do. It's why I've been doing it for 19 years. She tops me always, but I'm just older. Right. But yes, and I've known Sarah for several years. We worked together in Middletown. I know Martha as well for several years. We worked together in Region 17. So this job is about those relationships, and it's my privilege to be able to continue those relationships because I know these people do great work, and so the opportunity to continue working with them is obviously something that I'm really excited about.
So I think you've known that we've had 3 separate attorneys for quite some time on our board, and we thought, it was time to transition to have all of the services under one roof. In the past, most of the board didn't meet our attorneys or didn't really have a relationship with them, and I'm not really sure how much administration had access to other than special education because it's very much a working relationship. So one of the priorities for me is that there is some visibility with the rest of the board. Marcy and I typically have the most interaction with the attorneys just because we're on negotiating committee. So we get tight, but it's just nice for the rest of the board to have access and to hear your views or know if something's changing that we should all know. And sometimes it will get lost in translation if myself or Scott, who's not an attorney, we're just not attorneys, right? And it's good for the administrators just to have access to, not necessarily that they'll need you, but it's just nice to know there's another person on your side and working with the kids. And North Branford's a unique town, and I say that very heartfelt. we work with kids well beyond them graduating. Our alumni are very much a part of the fabric of our school system as our kindergartners. We're very much a community, so where you have very strong roots, and I think that's unique. So welcome to our town for all of you.
Well, thank you.
Can you speak to, your areas of law that you'll be
That's what I
working
was
with?
going to ask. That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Absolutely. So what we're envisioning, and the one member of the team who's described in our materials is an attorney who's actually been working with the board on policy matters, Sarah Gleason, and she is an associate with our firm. She wasn't able to join us tonight, but she is also terrific. And she will round out our team because one of our philosophies is we want to make sure we don't have any clients where they only have one face, because let's just be honest, we're in this board meeting, right? And so if we didn't have a third team member for some other community, they could be calling and there'd be nobody there, right? So responsiveness and the ability to form these relationships by approaching it as a team is very important to us. What we were contemplating for the different zones, if you will, is that I would be generally responsible for board governance, employment, and educational counseling matters, and that Rebecca would be responsible for special education and the labor relations negotiations. Although I will say one of the good things about our practice, just how it happened to develop, is I practice in the area of special ed and I have extensive labor relations experience. Rebecca does all the board governance and all the student discipline and all the employment and educational counseling as well, so we actually can overlap with each other as needed. And then Sarah is as learning all of the areas as well. She's relatively new to our firm, but she has prior experience as a litigator, so she has a lot of skills that she brought from her prior employment as well. So we would be available to you at any time. And if we grow into a relationship where you say, Ann, can you do that? Because that was great last time. Or can you send Rebecca for this? Because it makes sense. That sort of can develop organically as well. I would say our philosophy is, in addition to access to your attorney when you need it, right? That's really important to us. Responsiveness. You don't call because you want to chat.
No, it's expensive.
And shoot the dream. Exactly. It is expensive. And so I love, I train our clients, right? If they call and they don't have a formulated list of questions, right? I say, okay, well, this would be better for you. Like, write down the list of questions you want to ask in advance, right? Because then, sometimes I have to guide them to formulate. They don't even necessarily know what the different issues are, and so it's not like we're limited to the list of questions. But we do prize efficiency, and so that's a two-way street, right? And we love the fact that we have 19 school lawyers at the firm. We represent, I think it's 123 different districts in varying capacities, as well as RESCs and institutions of higher education, preschool programs as well, and independent schools. And so honestly, if we have a question that comes across our desk, our first response is, if I haven't dealt with it, I should determine if a colleague has dealt with it. And so I might get a memo from Rebecca. I did this memo for this board in 2015. Don't forget, there was that legislative change in 2018. So if you are updating the memo, don't forget the 2018. But I've already got a head start. Right. It's fantastic. And that's very efficient. And helpful, both in special ed and labor relations as well.
Yeah, we really do try to be very efficient. And many times we can answer the question just off the top of our heads, because when you're working with over 100 different school districts, sad to say it, but the issue is probably not unique. Most of the time that the issues come up, we've looked into it, we've got a pretty good start on the answer. the other thing too is even beyond our own team, even if it's beyond our scope of expertise, the cool thing about being at a big law firm is, let's say it's a tax question that Rebecca does not want to touch with a 10-foot pole, because I am not a tax lawyer. Nor do I want to be a tax lawyer. If I wanted to be a tax lawyer, I could have been a tax lawyer, and I did not choose that. So, but I have tax lawyers in my building that I can just say, what is this? And they can write back to me in like, there's, in 2 seconds, and I get the response. And so we can be really cost effective and really efficient in that regard too. I think also, if we're talking about efficiency, part of it too is our style. Our goal is not to create litigation for you. It is to avoid litigation as a general rule. Our philosophy is going to be to try to, because let's just be honest, when we're in a labor negotiation, those are unions that you're going to have long-term relationships with. When you're in a contentious special education matter, this is a student who lives in your district, who you want to have a relationship with. So our goal is first and foremost going to be to try to avoid disputes, to try to ensure that you are complying with all the laws that you need to, and that there isn't any opportunity for claims to be brought. If there are claims brought, of course, we're prepared to represent the district, but that helps us be efficient too, because our mindset is going to be first problem solving. Right? How do we solve this problem in the most efficient way and the most practical way, and the way that'll best meet the needs of the district and meet your community's interests, so we get to know you, we get to know the way you think, we get to know what would be best for your community, and that's our goal. So that also helps in efficiency.
Right, we have a colleague, Tom Mooney, who was the leader of still is the leader of our school practice group, and he says, many clients with small bills is our goal.
I like that. I like that philosophy a lot.
There you go. Because we value the relationship, and the last thing we would want to do is spend more time than we need or you need us to in order to resolve an issue. And you can, I think Rebecca's focus on the relationship part. We are looking forward to a closer relationship with you. But those relationships with parents and with union representatives are long-term as well, right? And if you can build up some level of trust and capital with your counterparts that you're trying to resolve a dispute with, it's just really important. And so that's how we generally practice. Now, that's not to say we don't end up saying, okay, well, this is the line and this is where it ends, right? We're not doing that when we have to, but we are first trying to say, is there a way that's mutually beneficial for us to resolve whatever's in front of us? Because that would be better for everyone. So that's generally the philosophy of the practice.
Perfect.
Can I answer any other questions?
I think it was really unique when we started this, and I had no idea that Sarah and Catherine had the relationship, and also with Martha.
Right.
We had worked together several years ago, and then we've done policy with shipment, so it really came together quite nicely.
I think so.
Well, we're happy, so.
We're all happy, so
That's a good thing.
yeah.
And that, part of what we do is invest in our clients too. So we do a lot of behind the scenes when we have new legislation, right? Honestly, in COVID, it was like the Wild West, right? Nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew. Every question was new. That was unique for us because usually we're like, oh, we had that a year ago in so-and-so district, right? Well, that was not true anymore. So, we worked round the clock to try to come up with temporary policies to address, the governor's orders, and worked tirelessly with our special educators.
Procedures for requesting accommodations, procedures if you needed home-bound instruction, procedures for how we're providing instruction during the pandemic. We had all of these sample documents on a website that was available to all of our clients. So that was great. And I think one way too that we can get to know the board is that we love to do training. So if there's
To do what?
training.
Oh, training.
So if there's opportunities for us to come and meet and see you in a moment that's not a panic.
Right.
Yeah.
Training is one way that we can do that, so we would welcome the opportunity to come
that's a
and
great idea.
talk to the board about,
That's a
you know, a topic that might be helpful, because that might be a way
Yeah.
for us to have more opportunity
Even
to
overall general training, because we have so
Talk.
many new members.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, yeah, for new members.
Yeah, because we have
Um,
some, we have,
Yeah, FOI training,
Yeah, one-
really
yeah.
almost anything. And
We'll send an outline.
it's a huge, it's much better to talk about things when they're hypothetical.
right.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely.
So,
Great.
in any case, thank you very much for the opportunity, because we're very, very excited.
And thanks for the flexibility. I got caught in a monsoon. And
Oh, no worries.
She had the materials.
don't go outside right now. But yes,
Yeah, we heard the rain before.
thank you.
If there are no other questions,
No, there's none on my end.
thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, ladies, very much. Looking forward to working with you.
thank you.
Yeah, we are too.
Yeah, I'll do a second.
Oh my God.
They're tonight, you aren't here tonight.
Probably it's- School lunch.
We're on page 3 of 6.
Okay, moving along on the
School
agenda.
lunch, we're up at school lunch. Are you presenting school lunch or is Mike presenting school lunch?
Michael,
Michael.
but first I'm gonna, as part of that, it's kind of a two-part. I'm gonna pass out
Two-part
surveys from MBIS and the high school.
Okay.
We're not gonna go through them tonight.
That's
You-
fine.
You can take them home, you can look at all of the
Peruse.
questions, the data, the responses from
Okay.
the sample group, and then. Do that one first.
Stuck on my book here.
So the high school one's coming around, MBIS is gonna come right behind it. Michael, if you wanna move up, it's probably easier. Tim, sit right up here at the table,
This is
next to Michael.
in the hot seat.
No, sit over here, you know, unless you want the mic. I'll sit here. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna look at is the healthy food certification, and the board decides whether we accept the reimbursement of the 10 cents per meal moving forward next year, and then the ability for us to sell foods at sporting events, games, fundraisers that don't meet the healthy food standard. So we have two motions that are there in front of you on page 3, if you're to accept it. The second part, page 4, on the next page, if the board chooses not to participate, there's a motion there as well. So I'll let Michael take over this part of it for his recommendation, knowing our finances and how healthy we have been in the past. If you're not aware or you are aware, the free lunch for all students will end at the end of the school year. So we are going back to, you know, our monies earned supporting our, you know, school program. So that being said, Michael, I'll let you take it away.
Are we gonna vote on the healthy food certification first?
So,
So what you need to do is make a motion to participate in the healthy food certification, and then there's a motion to, and then vote. And then there's a motion to approve the food piece, and then there's, and approve that. And then there's a motion to approve the beverage piece and vote for that.
so the 10
There's
cent
verbiage
reimbursement.
there that you need to follow specifically that will be in your minutes that I have to present to the state of Connecticut once you've taken and voted. So
So,
I think we should go ahead with that piece first.
So it's your recommendation?
The recommendation is for the 10 cent reimbursement.
Right, I figured that.
Yeah.
But then are we gonna talk about things in, like, I know we're not gonna go over the survey, but just like quickly perusing it?
We can look at highlights of that and.
Right,
discuss
because
it.
I think,
I mean-
just like I looked at it super quick, but we could go over it, like, based on the survey, I think that there could be changes that are made but still meet the requirement for the healthy food certification.
Yeah, the healthy food certification really has more to do with what we sell outside of the National School Lunch Program.
So
Really,
is that
that's what-
like after-school program? Okay. And-
Yes.
And that,
And the items that are sold, what we call extra or à la carte, they have to specifically meet sodium requirements, caloric content.
but you can have
sat-
french fries, right? Like I saw french fries on there, you're allowed to sell french fries.
Mhm.
So there's some.
But they're baked, so there's not a bad thing involved with them.
They're not like deep fried and,
No.
okay.
So the 10-cent reimbursement is more
It's
economical
definitely
for
worth
us to.
Yeah,
work
yeah.
for-
Okay, so
So I'm just saying, I think, well, we could talk about it after we make the motion.
Okay, so I'll make a motion pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, Section 10-25215F of the North Branford Board of Education certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under the jurisdiction of the North Branford Board of Education and not exempted from the Connecticut nutrition standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut nutrition standards during the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. The certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeteria, and any fundraising activities on school premises, sponsored by the school or by non-school organizations and groups.
Second?
Okay, discussion, go Zach.
Just the dollar, or cent amount, whatever it is. Is that a flat number, or is that, how does that
The
come out?
10-cent reimbursement, the 10 cents reimbursement is for every reimbursable meal that we offer to the students that is taken. And so the incentive there is pretty strong because you're going to have to follow certain rules and regulations anyways with the school lunch program. The state of Connecticut is giving you kind of like a carrot hanging in front of you to go a little further with the nutritional contents. So it's definitely worth our
Has it
while.
always been 10 cents, just out of curiosity, like, 10 to 12?
It turns out to, well, after a school year like this year, with our meal counts, it could be in excess of $20,000 by the
Right.
time you're done.
It's like,
In past years, I think it's been running more like 13,000.
But the number 10 cents is since I've been,
standard.
And we've been doing this program 6 or 7 years now.
2016, 2017 school year? And so I'm sorry, just ask questions about like the vending machines and the after school, what can and can't be sold?
Well, as far as beverages, you're pretty locked into water and juices. You know, there's
No
nothing-
Gatorades and stuff?
No. That's why there's these motions and voting and then allowing you the exemptions with the specific events that are occurring. You read all the rules and regulations involved with it. That's how the concession stand can
Yeah,
go ahead and
concession
sell
stand can
candies
sell
and things
all
like that.
Oh, so, okay, there's a caveat.
Yeah, after we do
Right,
that.
so we can do it at special
Absolutely.
events,
Okay,
like,
okay, good. I was like, you have to have Gatorade.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And this whole process allows us to do that, but still live under their guidelines.
Okay.
And collect 10 cents,
Mhm.
which adds up.
Can we have a roll call vote?
Of course.
Thank you.
Chairman Papaholzer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nafrio,
Yep.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Jana Balsamo,
Yes.
Zachary Canada,
Yes.
Kim Dawson.
Yes. Okay, then moving on, I'll make a motion that the North Branford Board of Education will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut national standards, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of a regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event And 3, the food items are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. The school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be the same place as the food sales.
Second?
Any discussion?
Is there any idea to how much money that's going to generate?
On a football game at home, concession stand, Michael, we can make on a great night playing
$600-700 clear. I mean, we will generate in sales 1,500
Yeah.
after expenses.
clear
That's
center.
good.
Yeah.
Can the concession stand ever be opened up? I mean, football's, I know, our largest event kind of on the fields, but like sometimes we have 3 games going at one time. Can we ever have a concession stand then? How does that work?
We can open it whenever we have the
Staff.
staffing to do it, and
Is staffing volunteers, like parent volunteers or real staffing? I mean,
It's mostly
mix.
hired people.
okay.
Because-
The only volunteers are my wife and maybe somebody else.
You mean she got voluntold?
just being around.
I wonder how
is paying enough, Michael.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, I know it's not feasible for everything, but like when we have state games here,
Sure.
or we
Big
have,
events.
you know, the baseball field going and the lacrosse going and a track meet going, there's more of a,
A lot of people walking around.
Bodies.
there's a lot of, like you won't want to open it unless there's enough of
It
bodies.
has to be, right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, can you open it without even, just for like, drinks and like grab and go where you don't have to, like granola bars or whatever, where you don't have to do the grill? If you don't have enough staffing, is that possible or does that not really work?
Somebody's got to be responsible for it, opening it up.
Right.
I had a request from Lori yesterday, Lori Connolly, because there was track, I believe.
We did track
But
this.
we haven't even been out there. The water is turned off. I'm not even sure if the electricity's on in it. But again, it's like you said, attendance and participation hardly makes it worth doing something like that. But if you want to do it as a grab and go, you'd be better off putting somebody out there as a volunteer. That's what you really need.
And people do love the grill though.
I'm just saying if we don't have the staffing for the
Yeah.
grill, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we could work with Lori and see the days that games overlap, so there is a lot of foot traffic to open it up normally, and then on
They had a
other days,
table
there's.
yesterday at the track.
They what?
They did have a table at the track.
Yeah, and do they have more than one school, or was it just one-on-one?
It was a tri-meet, and
Yes.
there were 2 moms that ran the table. There was, the concession stand was closed. It was just a table set up with.
Yeah.
Oh, so they just did it for like their sport or
Yeah.
something, to make money for their sport?
That's what we find more and more.
Oh, okay.
Well, because I don't even know if they thought that was an option. Like, I didn't know that it was an option to open the concession stand. I thought it was just for football.
No, if it's an event that's gonna generate, if you can cover the
Revenue.
cost of
Yeah.
your staffing and make $700, it's well worth it. If you lose money because you're paying 3 staff members
Got it.
$15 or $20 an hour, then you're weighing that out.
But if you can provide the volunteer, like say like the track, they have like
Yeah, like
multi,
they did that.
so
Yeah.
that you have multiple, like parents volunteer who are at the track meet, like
Right.
they can open it then. Like
Yeah.
can they like, can they make the volunteers? Like you have,
They did it yesterday.
no, but they didn't do it as part of the
Oh, you're
concession
saying
stand.
Yeah, inside.
Well, they'd have to, I mean, you have to be safe certified in order to.
So it's not, it's just a volunteer, you have to be
Yeah, and then use the
certified.
grill. We have
Well,
to-
if you want to do
Just
some,
show up.
if you want to really cook out there.
Well, I'm not talking about cooking,
Right, but
not.
just to open it and
yeah.
utilize it, you don't have to have any
Right,
certification.
once you
for
turn the
that.
grill on.
It's only once the grill's turned on.
Once the grill's on, that's, okay. Which,
Some sort of serving.
I don't know if you need that for track meet, but
I
option.
think only state, big things. We could look into that. I'll put that on the notes. Okay, that's a fun idea. Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about that.
We still have another vote too.
Yep.
Chairman
Next page.
Capaholzer.
Yes.
Vice Chair Nafrio.
Yes.
Secretary Sienna.
Yes.
Jen Balsamo.
Yes.
Daphne Canada.
Yes.
Kim Dawson.
Yes.
You're doing such a good job.
Okay. Then I'll make a motion, the North Branford Board of Education will allow the sale to students of all beverages not listed in Section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes during the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, provided that the following conditions are met.
1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the beverages are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. The school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be the same place as the beverage sales.
Second?
Discussion. Are you allowed to have the flavored water? Is that considered water?
I've been selling seltzers this.
I was just gonna say, can you sell those?
Yeah. Is that going? Is that a seller or?
Marginally. The
marginally?
Gatorade seems to be the strong item, and then certain sodas. But,
Sodas? Really?
yeah.
All right.
You'd be surprised the kids love root beer and orange.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's so sugary. All right.
Oh.
That's good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
You want to set it right? Here, can we have a vote?
Ready?
Yes.
Chairman Holzer,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nafria,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Jana Balsamo,
Yes.
Zachary Kianga,
Yes.
Kim Dawson.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you for that vote. And thank you, Marcy, for doing the verbiage because they make a big deal about it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another thing about the healthy food certification where we're actually helping out our community is a lot of our parents in different sports are setting up their own tables, not just at the concession stand when it's not open,
Yeah.
but in the gymnasium areas. So that kind of allows them
The
free reign to
flexibility.
do what they want without feeling like they're not doing it appropriately. So
Right.
this is a good move.
So this allows like the basketball teams to sell their pizza slices and their candy bars and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Anything else from Michael?
The only thing that I really noticed on here, like all the rest I would guess, like, you know, seemed pretty in sync, right?
Yeah.
So are you going to remove the least preferred items and stick with the most preferred items?
Probably not, because some of them we have as inventory and are provided as commodities by the USDA.
So they're
I
free?
need to use them.
They're free?
They're part of the program. I'm allocated a certain amount of money to participate in the school lunch program and purchase what they call commodities.
Do you have
And-
options?
Pardon?
Do you have options or do you have
You
to?
have a selection, they have a menu of items you can purchase, but because of the rules, a good example I can use is with the vegetables. You know, they want you to be exposing the students to a broad variety of vegetables. So they call it the rainbow. And while some of the vegetables aren't really, like broccoli, isn't really something that they prefer, I still need to plug that into the menu to cover certain colors of the rainbow
Gotcha.
for vegetables.
I was actually looking more at the baked beans, chickpea salad, and coleslaw.
Okay, chickpeas, for instance, that's a big commodity item because it can be utilized as a legume, which is a protein, or as a vegetable, as a starch.
So you could make the chickpea something else other than the chickpea salad. So that's what you're basically telling
We
me.
try to.
Yeah,
We've
okay.
made hummus with
Where do
it.
you have the chickpeas?
Yeah, you could make hummus, and I
Great.
bet that would be a hummus with a whatever.
We've made hummus before, and it sells marginally. It's because it just doesn't end up being like
My son loves
Sabras.
hummus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We do the best we can.
come on. The other thing that I just kind of realized, I mean, obviously, I'm assuming that you will tweak the least preferred items to make them more
Oh, yeah.
desirable. But what's really stood out for me, because it was like a low percentage that separated us, like, if we're really trying to be healthy, can't we have grilled chicken and not processed products? Like, how does that impact it? Like, processed is not healthy. And the
Well,
whole point of this is healthy, and processed just isn't healthy.
Part of okay,
Can't
just
really
let's
look right
use
now.
grilled chicken as an example. One, I don't have a grill at the high school. And to bake a plain chicken breast, we'd have to really work at it. At the intermediate school, I don't have a grill either, but I do have a flat top griddle that I could utilize. So trying to prepare some things
Do you
is
think
a
in the
little
new
more
high
of a
school that will help?
challenge.
Do you think,
Pardon?
when you get into the new high school, will that be more accommodating for that kind of, I mean, like, you might start it in the middle school.
I haven't seen
but-
the list of equipment that they're gonna provide yet.
You
So,
haven't?
is
that
that?
remains to be seen.
You didn't
How
have any,
is that?
you didn't have any
No,
input to it?
The next phase, when they design the kitchen, Michael will be.
Okay, I was
Okay, so
gonna
they
say.
haven't got to that stage yet. I was gonna say, because that's, how is
I
that
just got
possible?
scared for a minute that you
Yeah.
didn't know what was going in the kitchen, like no one ran it by you. I was like,
Well,
oh.
we've had a discussion about everything,
Okay.
but I haven't seen any purchases or
No, they'll be, it's like us, we pick.
cut
Yeah,
sheets
we're
on
not
the
that
type of
far
stuff.
along.
We're not there yet.
Yeah,
He
I
will.
mean, they're doing the academic, but
Yeah.
Is that possibly something we can move to in the next 2 years, is less processed and more,
Yes,
I don't know what
quite
you
easily.
call it, grilled, natural? Like,
You're gonna be generating, you'll probably be generating higher labor costs if you can find the labor to do it, but yeah, I'm sure we could.
yeah, just to figure it out.
I
I'm not
mean,
saying every
it could
day,
be
but-
possible, but financially, it has to be,
Feasible.
feasible.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can't speak tonight, so
Yeah.
it's all tongue twisted. But yes, I mean, it'd be
But
great to
legally,
have fresh, but it's also more expensive.
Yeah.
It is, but who wants
So.
their kid eating processed? Does everyone's kid eat processed at home? I mean, I know they don't eat vegetables at home most of the time, but processed too? I mean, I don't know. I feel like the schools should really have good meals. I mean, if you can do it, we explore it. And I understand your point in the high school right now, but,
Sure.
and I understand like the baking compared to the grilling too. I understand that, but I don't know, just if we can move to healthier meat choices, just like we're looking at chickpeas and broccoli, we should also make sure that the
Well,
meat selection
and
is
I
healthy.
agree with you. It appears though, after doing the school lunch program now a few years, the big push is to focus on vegetables and fruits and things like that, not so much the variety of proteins that we're providing. And what's happening is now the proteins are costing so much
Yeah, I'm
that
hoping that circles
I
back.
really,
I know, it's crazy.
Meat is
it
so
would take,
expensive, I know.
it's gonna be a challenge. That's all.
Yeah, it might not be something we can do right now, but something to keep our eye on moving forward. Just, I mean, kids just don't like go for them. Like they want their cheeseburgers and their chickens and their, especially as they're moving towards the middle school and high school, they're eating differently. I think little kids, like their mac and cheese and their French toast sticks a lot.
We're seeing, because I finally have some very good staff at the high school, we're offering a lot more different things right now.
Good.
I know Mr. Steffler's been in the kitchen taking pictures of yogurt parfaits and smoothies
great.
and different things like that. And they've been
Has he
doing
been
it very
sampling
well.
too?
Pardon?
Sampling too?
Yeah, I heard they're well received.
We know you will.
I've sampled
I
them.
mean, I'll just say, especially in the last 3 or 4 months, the kitchen at the high school has just put out incredible products. I've never seen more kids eating food and never having that much selection. So every day,
good.
Yeah.
they have 4 to 5 different options to eat. There's multiple hot options. The salads are like restaurant quality. The parfaits now have become really popular with fruit. The breakfast in the morning, more students are getting. So, I mean, it's just a credit to him and his
Yeah.
staff.
That's
I've never
great.
seen better
I
quality
give-
coming out of the kitchen.
I give a lot of credit to my staff that I currently have at the high school.
Good.
Since the first of the year, they are making a big difference.
Just
That's
something I want to
awesome.
say, I'll just add, when the kids pre-order, which has been great, we started that during COVID,
Yeah.
they put their orders, I was looking at some of them in the refrigerator, and they put additional comments, and there's probably 15 in there, and like 10 of those said, thank you, have a wonderful break, and then the cat worker who like would draw a smiley, said, you too, like, thank you, have a great break. So the
That's-
kids are just doing that on
They're appreciative, yeah.
really articulate too.
That's awesome.
What's going on
Yeah.
out there. It's a really good thing.
Okay, that's better than even grilled chicken. Like building that
So is the
relationship.
pre-ordering then something we'll continue past like COVID? Does that work well?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we did.
Started prior to COVID.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
did
even
start prior
had
to that.
prior to COVID.
Okay.
I would think that makes so much more sense. It gives them an idea how much of everything.
Yeah, they
that
could put more
need
time into
there.
what's popular that day or.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
gives them more time.
Yeah.
As far as some of these surveys, is there any highlights here that, other than that, you'd like to mention? I know with the economics at the high school, for instance, it kind of trended towards what I felt they would say. And to continue with the school lunch program, the national school lunch program, well, you know, data can be a little skewed, but most preferred is what it appears that these kids are saying. And it's probably the higher cost that's what's scaring them.
I think so
Yeah.
too. I agree with you. I think it's the higher cost. I think if you just use the feedback for the most preferred to least preferred and tweak the menu,
Yeah.
I think that's the best option, because then, you know, the kids are heard, change is made, and, you know, it meets their needs and your needs. If we could, of course, I'm always going to ask about the non-processed stuff, but, I mean, when we can do it and prices shift, then we do it, and we have you know, the kitchen's available to do it, we will, and we'll just keep it on, our finger on the pulse of it, and in the meantime, just keep improving the program. I mean, it sounds great.
That's interesting, least preferred, steak and cheese sub, chicken fajitas,
Yeah,
and hot chicken buffalo wrap.
but they still sell very well. They
Right.
really do, you know.
Yeah.
For us in the high school, for instance, or even the intermediate school, if you sell 40 or 50 fajitas or a wrap of a certain flavor, that's still a contender
Yeah.
for the daily menu.
How about for vegetables? Do you ever do like crudités? You know, like
They-
little,
All the time, every day.
do they
We have
sell?
what they call the rainbow tray,
Yeah.
and so you have to line up a yellow or a green, a legume, and so there's carrots, there's red peppers, there's cucumbers. We even put peas out. The kids will eat peas, and sweet potatoes. So we have a wide variety of vegetables that we offer, and in a raw state, and they can also get a dip with that.
That's what I, that's
Does
what
it
I-
come with
Yeah.
ranch? Because my son will eat anything if has ranch dressing.
We have ranch.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Right? Just
My little one, if it has ranch, that's it. He loves
I mean,
ranch.
that's the way to get them to eat vegetables, is raw and,
Ranch
dip.
dressing.
It's
Dip.
amazing at the intermediate school, the kids love cucumbers. Amazing. They love, we go through a lot of cucumbers there.
All
Now,
right.
carrots and celery, I think, have become passé, but cucumbers, red pepper strips, they eat that stuff.
That's a riot. Like, no.
yeah.
What's in and out of style?
I hate celery's too much work. It's just
And
like
Michael, every time you say I think of Skittles, when you say the rainbow thing, I see the Skittles commercial.
a little
So I think you know
different
my
though.
dietary pattern here. I'm thinking Skittles, not, I'm just being honest,
Yeah.
Michael,
Taste the rainbow.
We did all our votes, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Can I mention one thing, and not
Yeah.
to make it the downer of the day, but come next school year, we will most likely be forced to raise the prices for the meals.
Michael, they're free. They have to go up anyway.
Okay, so they're not going to be the current prices from 2
25
years.
cents probably increase?
I can't answer that for sure.
Okay. I mean, we've been
It's driven by an
very,
equation.
No, we've been very,
It's been free for 2 years.
no, but even.
I know.
Even before that, it's been pretty steady, yeah.
what do your children pay at their school?
Who's,
At your children's school, what do they pay for hot
they
lunch?
don't buy it. But it's triple, it's
Yeah,
$7,
it's-
$7 or $8.
$7 or $8
Yeah.
for hot lunch.
Is
And
that-
my boys, that's my daughter, my boys, it would be,
15.
double.
Wow.
So they
But
bring.
keep that in mind, we're going to have to talk.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Unfortunately, everything's going up.
Yeah.
Do we ever use our gardens or anything? Do you use our gardens and stuff in town, like the?
Pardon?
Do we get any of our produce? Yes.
Local.
Todd's, yeah,
Chickarellis?
chicken, yeah. Oh,
Di
perfect.
Francisco's. Unfortunately, their growing season doesn't coordinate with our
Coincide,
schools.
yeah.
So, you know, it's
You do what you
tomatoes
can.
and squashes, things like that, corn. So,
No, my
do what you can.
frequents
But they-
local,
they,
definitely.
they still, though, consider local 200 miles radius, so we're buying
That's a
local.
field trip. All right.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
for your hard work.
That really is a field trip, 200 miles. Martha, I think you're up. I think it's your
Oh,
turn.
I am, okay. So we're now in the testing phase for the new financial software, and it's funny Scott mentioned Skittles because on the new financial software, there's to the right-hand side, there's a bunch of different little circles up at the top, and our trainer refers to them as the Skittles. So
That's funny.
Great minds think alike.
one of the big challenges that we're doing right now in the new software is we're establishing user roles and data roles.
Okay.
And those are the two things that are going to allow different users to access different locations, different account numbers, different departments. So it's very intricate and very tedious work that we're doing right now because like someone at the high school can't have access to the account number, say, at the other schools, but our facilities director needs access to a certain set of accounts at the high school, so all the facility lines, so anything with a 2610 or 2600 is facilities, and our technology department needs access to anything that's technology, so that function is 2225. So it's all these different things that we have to piece together to allow these different groups of people to access what they need to and be able to do those transactions that they need to. So what you can look up at a school for a purchase order to see if we paid the PO or cut the check or what the check number was is just the only access. But what we need to do here in the business office, the accounts payable person needs to be able to process and cut the check and all that kind of. So it's very, very tedious. So that's what we're working through now. We actually have a training on Monday. So we'll be in on Monday to do more training for the financial system. Our budget report for 21-22, we're still in good standing. We currently have over $8.3 million in open encumbrances. So it's almost $5 million in open encumbrances for salaries and almost $4 million, $3.3 million in open encumbrances for purchase orders. So what we're doing now, because of the time of the year that we're in, is we're starting to look at all of the open purchase orders to make sure that those things that are still open are as accurate as possible. And once we return from spring break, the payroll department will begin looking at all the open encumbrances for payroll.
How would
to
that
make sure.
happen, an open encumbrance? How does that happen?
So it is for payroll, it's a process that we do in the beginning of the year. We basically say, okay, a teacher is either going to get 22 or 26 pays, whatever they elect, and then that goes into the system. Your 12-month employees, such as some of our secretaries, custodians, they're in for 26 pays no matter what. And then you have the hourly people. Those are the more of the projections because they may change based on how many hours they work. So we give it our best guess. But then, there might be dockings or there might be changes in staffing and other things like that. So all those things can and will change.
So you're going to realign it.
So we're going to take another look at it and make sure it's as accurate as we think it is for this point in time. And then we'll have a better idea of what our remaining balance is.
Okay.
So even though it only says like $200,000 at this point, I'm confident that there's more there because we have a lot of cleaning up to do with $8 million in open encumbrances.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do have a list of notable objects, like we do every month. The non-certified staff, there's $65,000 that's set aside for the cafeteria salaries should the food service department need it. Last year, I think we did actually have to transfer over close to, I think it was almost $80,000 that we had to transfer over to our Fund 02, which is the cafeteria. So this year, there is 65,000 set aside for that. Our substitutes continue to be over budget. The actual amount that we're over right now, this is not a projection, but actual, is $101,000 over what we had projected. And this is enlightening for two reasons. One, that, yeah, we have a lot of people, out on FMLA or whatever the case may be. But the second piece is, we've never really gotten a good history of what our
Right.
substitutes cost.
Never
Because
had a line
prior
for
to
it.
me coming in, your substitute costs were buried in your certified and your non-certified lines. So you never really knew
Right.
how much it was costing. So even though this looks like it's a large number, we're actually getting a really good idea so
Getting
that
the
going forward,
Right.
we're budgeting more accurately. Our health insurance, we continue to have our employee contributions go towards the cost of this. So as you can see from month to month, that negative has been going down. There's a number of objects here that you'll see the last line says I'm requesting transfers to cover the overages. So there's quite a few here listed. Most of these are continuing from last month. We're hoping that things like heating oil and natural gas with the spring weather and the warm weather here now,
Right.
we're hoping that those needs are going to,
Go away.
go down and go away. Other than that, building improvement equipment, there's really nothing different on those lines. So you do have an extra handout for budget transfers. I've listed them as I always do, with the account number, the account name, and the proposed transfer. I usually either like to keep it within function or department or between building. So in other words, I'll never really transfer something, say, from the technology department to the facilities department unless I absolutely have to. I like to try and keep everything within its own. Or, something from Jerome within Jerome, if it's on the educational
Right.
side. So take a quick look through. If you have any questions, I'll try and answer them for you.
Did Scholastic News go up? Because we always get Scholastic News, right? That's not a new purchase, so it just seems kind of
I
like.
think that is,
Was
for
it a-
Jerome, I believe that is building wide. So
Right.
I don't know how many classrooms, I'm sure it's,
It was but don't we usually budget for that? I mean, it seems like that you have to make a transport for it, like.
yeah, see, it's,
So-
again, it's one of those lines where we never budgeted before.
So it's more just it wasn't in the right spot, probably?
Yeah, so the money's there
Okay.
in instructional supply, it's just now picky as to where we put
Okay.
it. And so it's charged to periodicals, which
Right,
never
yeah.
had
So
it.
it was like we always had it, so,
Yeah,
okay, that's
yeah.
fine, thanks.
Yeah, and I think we're probably going to see this in a few more spots, right, Martha, that you're pulling things out that were lumped in.
Yes.
So I prefer that. That looks fine to me.
Okay. I'll make a motion that anybody can discuss it. Make a motion to approve the line item transfers for the 2021-2022 school year as submitted.
Second?
Discussion? Anyone have any questions or concerns about the transfers? Beth, I thought you were raising your hand for a second. I have something to say.
Stretching.
Good. Can we have a roll call vote?
Chairman Papaholzer,
Yes.
Vice Chair D'Onofrio.
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Janice Olsamo,
Yes.
Becky Canada,
Yes.
Kim Johnson.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, COVID-19 update, we had our Zoom call this morning with East Shore Health and other services in town, and there was really no news to report. Obviously, there's a new variant that you're seeing numbers increase, and they're still trying to offer as many sites for vaccines and boosters, and now Pfizer's approved the 5 to 11-year-old, and 50-year-olds are now eligible for their second booster. So it's just informational. The numbers have gone up. I wouldn't say significantly in town, but they have gone up, and they're predominantly among 50-year-olds and older. Our children have been in good shape. We still report and follow our process with our schools, and knock on wood, we've been functioning just fine. So that being said, we're continuing with what we're doing. We're still mask optional. We're going to start opening up more school-based activities and more events. We have Glow Night tonight next door.
That was adorable. I walked over there before I came here, and it was so nice to see the kids running around and socializing and just trying to get back to normal.
What is it?
It was a glow party, so it was like a little dance for them. And I'll tell you, they have it down to a science over there. The third graders were getting dropped off at 6, so they're from 6 to 7:30. The fourth graders were from 6:30 to 8. And then the fifth graders are from 7 to 8:30. So God bless them on the half hour where they have all 3 grades there at once. But they had glow sticks, it was dark, they had a DJ. When I was there, they did the Macarena, they did Limbo, they did the Nene. They were having a ball. They were having an absolute ball in there. Some of them had glow-in-the-dark shirts, and
That's good.
it was just fun. They were lined up at what, 20 to 6?
Not early.
Earlier. They were lined up waiting to come in for 6 o'clock. So they were having a lot of fun. It was fun to see.
Yeah, that's good.
That's where Vicki is. She's running it for the PTO. So she had this commitment long before she got on the board. I actually should have taken a picture of her. She was in costume.
So that's what we're up to, getting back to normal. Junior prom went off, as you heard earlier. We had a great night. Senior prom is coming up in May. End of May.
Cascades?
Yes, Cascades.
Cascades.
Where's Cascades?
Hampton. Right at Quinnipiac there, going up the hill on the left.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Very nice venue.
When does COVID get to come off the agenda?
When you tell them to
Never.
take it off.
Take it off.
I can keep reporting as long as you want me to report, or we can say we've heard enough of COVID and we can remove it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll leave it to the end of the school year, and then we'll remove it at the end of the school year.
You know what our plans are.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that I need, and I can just say there's nothing to report at this time. I just update the meetings that we have on Thursday.
I mean, if it becomes relevant again, then it comes back on, but we probably should finish up the year with it since we have 3 more months of school. And then for our new school year, we could take it off the agenda unless it becomes relevant again. Okay.
I can do that. Okay, town manager, I had sent an email to the council and the board regarding the special ed excess cost grant.
I saw that.
You received that. I have a paper copy.
Yeah.
If anyone would like a paper copy, I'll get that to you. If not, I'll just hold on to it. So you have that. So we're requesting the $151,000 returned back to the Board of Ed as part of the first payment. There's a second payment coming in the spring. That would come in to offset our costs from this year that we're experiencing. So we've done that in the past. I don't think it should be problematic. We went before the council and explained to them how every town in Connecticut goes through this process, and this is what they do. So I'm hoping this will be streamlined and smooth. A renovation project, I'll let our committee members.
I actually have pictures tonight.
Okay.
Yay.
Yes, it's, but if you drive by, even at night, it's lit up with temporary lights. It looks really nice. The exterior wall studding is, I think it's pretty much done by now. They're doing the cement decks on the second floor and third floor. And they have like temporary exterior stairs so that they work and can get up. Last time I also put in that more parking for the work people.
Yeah,
working
we've
on
added
that.
additional parking. Yeah.
The additional parking. And the other thing that they're working on, they had a meeting, was they're hoping to, December 23rd, to start moving out so they can move in. So, and supposedly you have to find a place for all the stuff that you're gonna have to store that you're keeping.
Second floor of the
Why are you
Auger
looking
House.
at me?
To be continued.
Second floor of the Auger
No,
House.
it's really going well. Obviously, the summer months will be really busy. We'll have upwards of 300 tradesmen coming in. And that's when you're gonna really see this explosion, late June, July, August.
So do we think the kids will be in the school in January?
February?
January, February?
They're saying January 20, no, yeah, December 23rd through, they're hopeful, December 23rd through like the 5th or 6th of January, that they're gonna be moving out and moving stuff in.
If the electricians can do what they need to do, then that's the biggest trade group that will,
They're hopeful.
take it in. If it's January, oof, it'd be fantastic.
So here's a question. If there's a snafu, we get February, we only get like, would there be a possibility of maybe taking some more days, or moving in days, and then that means the kids could actually move in?
I think she's asking you to flex schedule.
In February, if it doesn't work out for,
Mr. Superintendent, I
We
think
can
that's what
work
she's
our magic
asking.
in many ways.
Well-
Once we, we'll know. I think we'll know in September what we're really looking at. This summer is such a big,
Is there like extra credit for the kids to move desks? Like you can have them, you know?
we'll do anything to, listen, offset labor costs and have students carry them, They love, we had third graders, I don't want to digress here, but we had the third graders here the other day at the greenhouse, and then Mr. Bloods marched them upstairs to look at the building, and we had photographs of them peering out, and they were saying, this is your future school. And they were so excited. It was absolutely adorable. So if we have to, we'll get them back, and they can get furniture. They'll be really happy to. So it's going well. Things are, it is. And thank you for your time.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah. And what, Zach, after that.
we're down to mostly bi-weekly now, not weekly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Twice a month then?
But yeah, Zach, you're going. Yeah.
What is it?
No, listen, I'm thanking the two of you for your time, energy, and effort, because it's a lot, and I understand that commitment.
It's an educational thing. How often do you get to spend, you learn about a $60, $70 million project, that's not exactly comes down the road every day.
No.
Plus the other 3 projects that we got going on, so
Right.
there's a lot going on in those. I give a lot of credit to the other guys that spend more time than I do. So it's humbling.
Sure.
All right. Moving on. Certified staff non-renewals?
So if we want to go into, we're going to go into executive session after we do committee reports. I'll just review a list of one-year non-renewals that we have to do before.
Okay. Negotiations, no report. Budget and operations, no report because we do finance here. Curriculum, no meeting. Pension, I have no meeting. Okay. Policy, no meeting. ACES,
Our meeting's next week.
okay, no meeting for right this minute. Building committee, we just talked about in the renovation project, but is there anything else in that? No?
No.
Okay, and no communications meeting. Okay. Mars?
When we do visitors and press, to go to the board first?
I don't think that, yes, we could, but I don't think there's any visitors here because I keep looking at the same administrators that want to go home.
Perfect.
So we can they go home?
We can stay here for executive session and then dismiss the administrative team and then we'll come back into
Not that I don't love your company, but
Yeah,
It's raining.
Can I just say something for the good of the board?
sure.
yeah, say for the good of the board.
I went to see Mbhs,
Oh,
and I reconnected with Cindy and Bob Genzano
yeah.
because they had my daughters in drama, and now my granddaughter's there. And it's nice, I remember Robin, and now she's doing a fantastic job.
Oh, good.
Wow.
That's nice to know.
And the other thing, I got to see a couple of capstone, and I said to Mr. First of all that I liked it a few years back where they were in the hallway, that if we could bring that back maybe after COVID
Sure.
and get to see more.
What
But
when
they're-
they were in the hallway?
Yeah, can you
In the
explain that? I
auditorium.
don't know what you're referring to.
They had it that the kids would line up in the hallway and they would have tables and they would display what they were doing.
Oh.
So it was in the auditorium, you could walk from table to
Yeah.
table.
Oh, no.
I liked it that way.
This one was from the auditorium to the Mbhs. or something.
Right, all around the
So
auditorium.
wait, so is this in addition to their presentation, to their,
It
No,
would be an
this
addition,
wasn't
because that was a showcase, and we put some exemplars out there, because they do need to present to a small committee member, so it would be an addition, but we could bring that back. That gives you the IPP program prior to capstone, so I did speak with Hetzel about that, and we would like to do that in the future.
Yeah, it was nice to be able to connect
I
with a lot of
enjoyed
them and get their.
we just
their
went through my
thoughts.
son's capstone. He had to decide on April 1st. It was a lot of drama in our house. So, yeah, it was. But he's doing a good project, so it should be fun. So, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, but it's fine. But yes, there was one that I got, Uniting Talent.
Igniting talent.
So, maybe Mr. Stefan could talk to how they connected to bring,
Mr. Kern is a longtime Branford resident, parent of a graduate, approached us with a new foundation, the Bay Foundation, which is basically an organization that puts kids in contact with micro internships, and they just started this. So we're the first school that they approached, and their target is approximately 4 to 6 high school seniors or juniors that were approaching West Haven High School, and they came to us. And so I thought there was a logical connection to Capstone, because we always have a handful of seniors that struggle with what they're going to do. Most juniors will pick something and then start to work on that during the junior year. So we identified a handful of seniors, and Ms. Young was kind enough to come by, and she saw Trevor Reed present, and he did 3 micro internships and really didn't have a plan post-high school graduation. Now he's going to major at a school, probably at a community college, and doing some web design based on his experience with
Nice.
So nice.
and he did
his
3 of them,
experience.
right? He did 3 separate things. He did, like you said, over 45 hours rather than 25. And he tried 3 different things, which
Wow.
That's awesome.
that he
Yeah.
stuck with it.
Yeah.
They do some interest inventories with the kids and some self-assessments, and then they make contact with the community, people who are willing to have kids shadow their occupation.
Oh, that's nice.
And then there was a young lady that worked over at TVES,
Yes.
and she decided that she wanted to teach.
And that's as beneficial as,
Yes, I mean, and it's great
it's
that
not for
they
me.
can decide,
Yeah.
rather than go through 2
Rather than go to school for it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then decide.
Definitely have to be.
So, yes,
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
good things. And my grandson was at he liked the worms, the talk on the worms.
Oh,
That's what impressed him.
good.
We were talking about
Worms are important.
For what?
Okay, so we
They iterate.
can adjourn to executive session.
So I'll make a motion to adjourn to executive session as per section 1-225 of the Connecticut General Statutes, as permitted by section 1-206A of the Connecticut General Statutes, to discuss agenda item 8M, certified staff non-renewals.
I'll second. Any discussion on this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We gonna stay here, or we going back?
We can stay here, that way we don't, yeah, and we'll
Oh, I
dismiss.
think
She huddles behind the counter and I can't see her.
We extended.
So it's her fault.
Mary.
This one school
Now I
year.
feel guilty doing this.
That teacher was hired for the school year. Until a certain.
We're on.
Then we extended.
We're on.
Okay. They can wait a minute. It's not your fault, you were asking a question, they can wait. Okay, I'll make a motion to non-renew the contract of Lisa Stark, science teacher at North Branford High School and North Branford Intermediate School for the 22-23 school year due to the fact that you were hired as long-term substitute while a certified staff member was on leave, and we anticipate the staff member to return in the 22-23 school year.
Second.
Yeah, Mary, can we do all in favor for all of these?
Yes.
I just want to, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to say,
Okay.
yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to non-renew the contract of Russell Scovin, mathematics teacher at North Branford Intermediate School for the 22-23 school year due to the fact that you were hired as a long-term substitute while a certified staff member was on leave, and we anticipate the staff member to return in the 22-23 school year.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion to non-renew the contract of Brett Fiorentino, special education teacher at North Branford Intermediate School for the 22-23 school year due to the fact that you were hired under a one-year contract.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. To non-renew the contract of Amanda Romano, special education teacher at Totucket Valley Elementary School for the 22-23 school year due to the fact that you were hired for a one-year position, 21-22, for maternity leave position for a certified staff member, and we anticipate the staff member to return for the 22-23 school year.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to non-renew the contract of Emily Bisson, special education teacher at Totucket Valley Elementary School for the 22-23 school year due to the fact that you were hired as a long-term substitute while a certified staff member was on maternity leave, and we anticipate the staff member to return in May of '22.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to non-renew the contract of Patrick Kelly, mathematics teacher at North Branford High School for the 22-23 school year due to the fact that you were hired as a long-term substitute while a certified staff member was on leave, and we anticipate the staff member to return in the 22-23 school year.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion to non-renew the contract of Charles Stone, mathematics teacher at North Branford High School for the 22-23 school year due to the fact that you were hired as a long-term substitute while a certified staff member was on leave, and we anticipate the staff member to return in the 22-23 school year.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to non-renew the contract of Justin Lopez, BCBA at District for the 22-23 school year due to the fact that you were hired unaffiliated employee not associated with any bargaining unit.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. I'll make a motion to non-renew the contract of Abby Boone, first grade teacher at Jerome Harrison Elementary School for the 22-23 school year due to the fact that you were hired under a one-year contract.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. And I'll make a motion to non-renew the contract of Kimberly Hillman, preschool teacher at Jerome Harrison Elementary School for the 22-23 school year due to the fact that you were hired under a one-year contract.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. Mary, do you have this?
The next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 19th, 2022. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thanks. Good.
Jana and Beth.
All in favor?